Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about change and also how to adapt to this change. For me, I thought this was a very important topic that we need to address just because of all the changes that you are all experiencing at this moment because of the pandemic, because of the COVID, and the changing of the times. Prior to me coming here as a Buddhist monk, like I shared with you before, when I was working as a therapist, one of the issues that we always dealt with when people are making a transition, when people are just dealing with some of the challenges in their lives, is a topic or a diagnosis called adjustment disorder. This is through the stressors of an event, multiple stressors, changes in their life that can lead to extra pressure, extra stress. So it can impact someone's mental health. For me, then I want to switch now to the current state. And for me as a Buddhist monk here, in Buddhism, when we talk about change, we talk about impermanence. And really what it is this natural law that tells us that change is constant and that nothing in this life, nothing in this world that we experience stays still. So automatically it will shift, it will change, and it cannot hold its current state. So this change is the one constant. With this said, it's still difficult. And I know many of you out there reach out to me, or the things that I hear when I meet with the retreat participants. And these type of changes can come in all forms. And it can be from you switching of a job. Maybe you're starting a new position. With the pandemic that happened and it caught us off guard since a couple years ago now, then people lost their titles. People got comfortable and even reached out to me and said, well, now I don't even know who I am because I lost that role. I lost that position. And some of you then would even move to a different state for a new job. So now you have a new role there as well. So that takes time to adjust and also to adapt. Also, some changes that are affecting people now are our interactions and how we socialize now. With the social distancing, with how close we can be with someone else regarding distance has changed. Our behavior and interaction has changed. Some people then, through those who are watching the videos, what makes me so proud is that you're changing your habits. You're taking the tools that we're teaching you every single week and you're adopting a morning routine. You're adopting an evening routine. Some of you are chanting for the first time and also incorporating meditation and more living for its intended purpose and minimalism, but you're adapting. And the list goes on from new relationships to old relationships to death and to health. But again, the point really is that change is constant. And I think we now are starting to get this concept. But the part that I feel that has not been addressed is really then how do you adapt to this change? How do you adapt to this adjustment period? And regardless of whatever change that you are experiencing or a new transition you're going through, it takes time to adapt. So please do not overlook this. So with that said, for me, I just want to take time and thank you for bearing with me. And I just want to share my own personal story about coming to the monkhood, living in a monastery, and then also share how does that apply to your life. So take this wisdom. But when I came here to become a monk, keep in mind, coming from California, from Malibu, living on the beach, all the way to a different country. So this was a big culture shock for me. My whole lifestyle was flipped upside down. The adjustment that I had to deal with range from so many different things, such as the weather, I believe I got into the airport at that time, maybe around 10, 11 p.m. at night. And I walked out of the airport and immediately, I've never felt that kind of heat just hit my face. And it was a introduction, a welcoming and hello to Thailand, and I felt it immediately. But just adapting to the weather was just one obstacle. Also, then I had to adapt to the insects and also the mosquitoes. From Malibu coming to here, I did not have to deal with this issue. So it was a constant adjustment of having to brush off mosquitoes, having to use mosquito spray as if it's my new lotion. But it was just very difficult. Another adjustment for us as men who are coming to take on this lifestyle is that we have to try new foods, and we're not used to this. Some of the food for us may be a bit exotic. Some can be too spicy or too flavorful, and the taste is we're not used to it. Also in the monastery, then we eat 2 times a day. So can you imagine, for me, coming from a person who meal preps and eats 6 times a day to now eating 2 times a day, and my last meal is in the afternoon or before 12 p.m. So this was, in the beginning, was very difficult. Again, we're adjusting to our environment of sleeping on the ground on just a thin yoga mat with our robes as the pillow. We're adjusting and where I have a comfortable bed and my own private bedroom to now I'm sleeping in a tent and it's hot. I typically can have time where I can sleep whenever I want to back home, wake up when I want to. But now here in the monastery, it was lights out at 10 p.m. and then we wake up around 4:30 in the morning. Adjusting to the Dhamma teaching was very difficult. I know some people have the misconception that when you come to monkhood, it's a piece of cake. It's like vacation. And okay, sure, that sounds like romantic, but let me tell you the real situation. And the real situation is that when you're new monks, is that we meditate every single day. Along with that, then we have to listen to the Dhamma teaching. So from morning all the way to nighttime, there is no rest. Throw that in with doing our chores, throw that in with the heat, throw that in with adjustment and learning the chanting. It's a whole new language, a whole new sounds, and your sensory system is just overloaded. Also then we have to learn and get used to the Thai language. We have to deal with our mentors and the teaching monks and the basics of monk life. And again, back to meditation, we're sitting a lot, so our body hurts. So the adjustment period is very difficult. And then for me, then I moved to stay in the forest. And being at the Pape meditation retreat was amazing, but that also came with a new adjustment and getting used to living in the deep forest with the different animals and sounds and insects and different weather patterns, again, takes time. So then, why am I sharing this? And really why I'm sharing this personal experience is because to highlight the fact that anytime we make a change in our life, whether we want to do that change ourselves or even because the world interfered and change just automatically happened on its own, we have to adjust and adapt. So just know that depending on the different types of changes, like I talked about in the beginning and for your life, that each change then requires a period where you have to recalibrate yourself. because it's a new situation. So then mentally, you have to recalibrate. Emotionally, you have to recalibrate. Physically, like I said, with meditation, our body has to adapt. So every time when we're going through these kind of changes, just know that there is, following it, and adjustment period. The second reason why I share, and the takeaway, is really then just understand that every change or every situation, the time difference is different for each person, because it depends on how big that impacts have on your life. Also, it depends on your nature. Some people can adapt to some situations faster than others, so there's no clear-cut formula. And I remember when I was working in the hospice and providing counseling for family members dealing with the death of a loved one. And some people took years to recover. Some people took weeks, or some people took months, but it all varied. And also the coping style is different. So while some people cope this way, maybe you might cope this way. And with that said, then this is an important factor that it is okay. Leading to the next point of the main thing I want you, or I hope you can take away from this, is with this adjustment for yourself, for your children who are watching these things, for your students, know that we need to practice self-care. We need to practice compassion and be kind and be patient, because this is normal. That again, we have this adjustment period. And why I shared my story with adjusting to the monk life is because when we come into this world, myself, we're called Navaka monks, and we do that for 5 years. And what that means is we're actually new monks. That's what Navaka monks are. New monks, because they understand that it takes about that long for you to get used to this lifestyle, for you to adapt, for you to be able to mold yourself and get used to it because of all the nuances. Like I said, this period is not rainbows and butterflies. It may look like that, but it's very challenging. And in this time, I'm still practicing patience and compassion with myself. And I know each day I'm still recalibrating and adapting. I'm mentally still adjusting to living as a monk. The mentality of living in a monastery. I'm not a lay person anymore, and I can just do what I want. I live in a community where we train ourselves and we take our spiritual practice and our meditation practice seriously. Physically, like I said, every day now my body is still having to adapt. I'm doing new exercises to stretch my body so I can sit longer. Then emotionally, the feelings that comes up. Maybe you can have feelings or experiences of grief. I don't have my car anymore. I don't have my job anymore. I don't have the relationships that I have. So automatically it takes time for us to detach, because before coming to the monastery, many people have lived out there for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They have families and businesses and experiences, and now coming here, it takes time. So coming back for your situation out there, just know that as big or as small as the changes you are going through, just know that it comes with an adjustment period. So be kind with yourself. And the wisdom from the monastery is, when we first come in here and we shave our head, we take the vow in the chapel, and we become new monks and we wear these beautiful robes. That first day, you're actually 1 day old in the spiritual world. Like I said, you may be a specific age out there with a lot of history, but when you come into this new realm, in this new environment as a new person, you're 1 day old. And they teach us again how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, how to sleep, how to think, everything brand new. And the adjustment period for us, they give us a window 5 years, just an average normal time frame, so you can continue to learn adequately, take the pressure off of yourself. And keep in mind, I can't stress this enough, during this time, don't minimize your experience. It's a difficult time, and maybe we're in this survival mode and it hasn't sunk in yet, but just know you're still human. You need to adjust and adapt, take time to get quiet and still, and be patient. The last thing I would leave you with is also, when you're going through a difficult time, make sure you do not engage in coping skills that are destructive and not healthy for you. Yes, it would numb it. Yes, it would make the pain go away. Yes, you may be less uncomfortable, but sometimes people can turn to things that are not appropriate, whether that's intoxicants, whether that's unhealthy peer group, whether there's unhealthy coping skills, different lifestyle. But for me, it's don't take the shortcut, because I've seen from my own experience and the experience of working with so many clients, just know that we can go that route, and sure, it might provide a band-aid, but it does not fix the root problem, and it will come back anyways, and it will be bigger and it will be heavier. So for now, just understand that this too shall pass, with the concept of impermanence. It's okay, and it will change, and it will adapt automatically. That's a guarantee, just because of this natural law. So just trust that. So the best thing that you can do now is just to know what is really happening. Take a breath. Let's try it in this moment, and we can even do a collective breath. Just close your eyes, just breathe in, and just breathe out all the heaviness, and everything will be fine. Be kind to yourself, and be kind and compassionate to others. So hopefully this is helpful for you, but feel free to share your experience. Keep up the great work for those who are pursuing their path and changing their lifestyle. Keep it up, and genuinely I want to say good job, and as always, sending you all my blessings here from Thailand, and be safe, and as always, Anumotanabun Satu.